Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this class. Today we'll be considering more examples on this topic, the domain of a function. We defined the domain of a function in our previous classes, so we are going to consider the definition again. Assuming that f is a real value function of real variables, then we define the domain of f to be the set of all x elements of real numbers such that f of x is a real number. So we are defining the domain of a function f to be we are defining the domain of a function f which is a function of real variables to be the set of all x elements of real numbers such that if I put those points x in the function, I'll get a real number. So we look at this sixth example. They ask us to find the understood domain of this function 4 divided by modulus of x minus 1, which we can read as the absolute value. That's 4 divided by absolute value of x minus 1. So look at the solution. So let me call our function. So let f of x be equal to this function will have 4 divided by absolute value of x minus 1. Anytime you want to find the domain of a rational function, just remove the points that will make the denominator to be 0. Once you have done that, then other points will be part of the domain. So we'll consider the points that will make the denominator to be 0. Look at the denominator we have. We have absolute value of x minus 1. This is our denominator. We want to remove the points that will make this to be what? 0. Now, if you now, how do you do it? You can write the denominator and set it to be equal to 0 and solve and get those points that will make it to be what? 0. So if you solve, if you move negative 1 to the right, to have the absolute value of x will be equal to what? Will be equal to positive 1. If you move negative 1 to the right, you get absolute value of x will be positive 1. But this gives us what? Two possibilities. Absolute value of a number absolute value of x will give you positive 1 if x is what? If x is 1, positive 1 or negative 1. These are the two possibilities for this absolute value of x to give me positive 1. Because I know that absolute value of 1 is what? 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. Absolute value of minus 1 is what? Is still what? 1. Because absolute value removes what? The negative of it. It removes the negativity. If you have a negative number inside the absolute value will remove that negative sign. So absolute value of 1 is 1. Absolute value of minus 1 is still what? 1. So the two values of x in which the absolute value is 1 and minus 1. So we say domain of function f with the set of all real numbers x such that x should not be what? X should not be 1 and then minus 1. You see how I wrote x equals to 1 and minus 1? And I don't want it to be that. I will cancel it. So x, which means x should not be equal to 1 and minus 1. Because that's what will make this denominator to be 0. Since we have removed these 2 points, other points will give us what? The domain. So if you draw your real line, you just locate those 2 points you remove from the real line. So we have 0 here, 1 is somewhere here, and then minus 1 is somewhere here, right? So this side will be negative infinity and the end point is positive infinity. I'm removing this point, so I'll circle it. I'm removing minus 1 and I'm removing what? 1. Other points will be inclusive, so I'll come this side. From this point down is part of it. That's between negative infinity and 1 and negative 1. So I'll say my domain will be equal to, I'll write negative infinity with open bracket, comma, then I'll write my minus 1. Because minus 1 should not be inside it, I'll use open bracket. If the point is inside it, you use close bracket. Then union. Then between minus 1 and 1, between these 2 points, all these points in between, they are also among. So I'll say that's between -1 and 1. These numbers are among. So I'll write my -1 with open bracket because -1 is not among. But all numbers between -1 and 1. Then I'll write my 1 with open bracket. Then I'll do union again. So which one again? We are considering numbers between +1 and what? Infinity. So we have +1, I'll use open bracket, comma what? Infinity. Use what? Open bracket. So this gives us what? The domain of this function. Thank you so much for being part of this class. See you in our upcoming class. Bye.